Now with our GMA cover story, a health alert about herbal dietary supplements. A growing number of people are ending up in the ER with serious liver injuries caused by supplements. In fact, a recent analysis shows supplements may now account for up to 1 in 5 cases of drug-induced liver damage in the U.S. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Narula, is here with what you need to know. And Dr. Narula, thank you. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
But what type of supplements cause the most concern, and why are they, quote, natural supplements that's sending people to the ER as well?
Well, this industry has really taken off. You know, in 1993, there were about 4,000 herbal and dietary supplements on the market. Now we're talking about over 80,000. 20% of Americans are taking herbal supplements. It's a $15 billion industry. Mostly women, mostly people who are older. And people really do it because they think they're helping themselves. They're taking something natural. They want to improve their health, maybe treat a chronic symptom or condition. The problem is that these are pharmacologically and biologically active substances, just like prescription medications are. And so there can be risks associated. And in fact, as you mentioned, we are seeing a big rise in liver injury from some of these supplements, both in the United States and in Europe. About 20% of drug-induced liver injury is now considered to be from supplements.
Wow.
The people who have been listed for liver transplants, that number has increased 8-fold from 1995 to 2020. And this can cause death and risk for liver transplant. So it's a big deal. And when you look at the list, it's wide-ranging. Things like turmeric, green tea extract, some weight loss supplements, bodybuilding supplements, black cohosh, which a lot of women take for menopause. So there's a big list there of potential culprits.
And they're not regulated like prescription medications.
That is the real thing that I think people don't understand. So supplements are considered foods. They are not regulated in the same way as drugs. And so manufacturers do not have to prove safety, efficacy, or quality before they end up on the market. They don't have to report post-market adverse effects. And so what can happen is once those drugs are out there, then the FDA is playing catch up and trying to then go and recall drugs when there's a problem. The issue with supplements is that they can be mislabeled. They can have other things in them. So they have been found to have prescription medications, bacteria, chemicals, heavy metals, pesticides. They can have either more or less than the active amount of drug that you think or a chemical that's in there. So it's a real big issue that just a lot of people are not aware of.
Yeah, and the prevalence. If you scroll through your feed on social media, I think about this every few minutes. I'm being served up an ad for one of these things. Right. And I'm sure people make a really solid case for why you should take one. And there's a lot of people taking them as a result. What do you do if you are taking something, and how do you know if it's safe?
Well, you need to talk to your doctor. And so a lot of times when we ask patients, what are you taking? They're not telling us, their physicians, about their supplements, either because they don't think it's important or because they just don't want to bring it up. But the reality is it is important. In fact, I just had a patient last week, an elderly woman on multiple meds. Suddenly her liver function tests went up. We didn't know, is it her statin or is it something else? And she said, I started a new supplement. She stopped it. The liver test went back to normal. So really important to discuss this, right? You can bring in your bottles and show your physician. There's a website that people can go to called Liver Talks where you can plug in your supplement and it will give you some information. You can look for those third-party certification seals. There are certain companies that do that. That will help you to tell if it's more safe. It won't ensure the efficacy of it. And also it's important for people to know they can interact with prescription drugs too.
Right.
So, for example, St. John's worts can affect statins, ginkgo can affect blood thinners. So it's really important to talk to your doctor.
And during pregnancy, I remember during pregnancy too, there's a lot of things you shouldn't be taking even if you are okay to take them when you're not.
Absolutely. So always bring it up, discuss risks and benefits.
Smart. Eye opener.
Yeah, really wise there. Thank you.
Thanks.